So if like women were always like, hey, if you don't want somebody to come up and squeeze you by the package so hard that it's bleeding or whatever, right? You shouldn't have worn those biker shorts as a man.
Right.
You shouldn't have worn the gray sweatpants. Women are visual creatures. And we would be asking men to take responsibility for women's behavior.
Absolutely.
That would be misandry.
Facts.
That's exactly what it would look like, is it would look like us on a global scale. And like I said, this has only happened twice that I'm aware of, when that woman set that man on fire and Sha'Carri Richardson getting a DV charge. That's the only time I've ever seen women at scale be like, well, what was he doing there? What was he wearing?
Welcome to the Audacity, the podcast where we will tell you straight up, misandry is not a real thing.
It's really not.
I'm the Sovereign Woman, and I'm joined with Lisa. How are you?
Hello, I'm so good. We have an amazing show as always for everyone today. And as always, am honored to be doing this along your side as well. And we have a lot to go through today. Mostly, I'm going to be honest, we're going to spend most of our tea time talking about the Megan Thee Stallion / Klay Thompson situation. We are absolutely...
Who's Klay?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, who?
Who the hell is that?
Yeah. Henceforth known as the clown who fumbled Megan Thee Stallion.
Listen.
Our tea time today is mostly just a giant wall of shame. We have Klay Thompson on the wall, and then we have a couple of the MAGA husbands from the White House Correspondents' Dinner on the wall. So we're going to spend just some time shaming men today. And after that, we will move on to our main topic, which is the fact that misandry is not a real thing, and that if anything is hurting men the way that they complain about oftentimes, it is actually misogyny and not misandry at the end of the day. So stay tuned for that for sure. And we also are going to dip into our This You collection, and we have a post from the Am I the Asshole subreddit where somebody asks, am I the asshole for using my dad's underwear to prove a point? I will not elaborate further at this time. You guys will have to stick around and find out what that's all about. But I promise you it will be worth it. It's very diabolical. And in our crumpet segment, we are very excited because we will get to spotlight an actual not all men that we found in the wild in our very own comment section. So if you are a subscriber already, you will get to see that. And if you're not and you would like to see it, you can sign up to receive our Crumpets mini show on our YouTube channel, as well as on our Patreon, which the Sovereign Woman will tell you all about right now.
Yes. So first and foremost, we have new TVIP Patreon members. We have Erica and we have Janet.
Woo!
Welcome. And we also have a tea spiller. Oh, I'm always excited when we have tea spillers.
Yes.
Anna.
Welcome,
Anna.
Woo!
And if you have not joined our Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/audacity to become a TVIP for perks like early access to every episode and the show notes. You'll get ad-free listening and viewing. You'll get our weekly bonus unhinged and uncensored crumpets after show, where Lisa and I get a little unhinged, a lot unhinged. You get to see a side of us that you don't get to see on the main episode. I'll just put it that way. You also get priority mailbags and topic submissions and voting power on future topics. Most importantly, you get access to our private women's only community and chat channels just for you. So be sure to go to patreon.com/audacity.
Yay. Thank you so much, Sovereign. I hope to see you all there. And without further ado, as always, we have to get into this. The only news that matters this week, and I know people are going to be seeing this a week late, but the only thing that matters to me today and has mattered to me since, when was the news broken? I think officially Saturday, is the fact that somebody literally just made the fumble of a fucking lifetime. Like, I don't think I've seen a man fumble this hard. I mean, maybe ever. I really don't know. Because he actually did end up losing the woman. And if you're not sure what we're talking about yet, we're definitely talking about Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson breaking up. And, you know, I couldn't be more proud of Megan for putting him on blast. Facts. On, you know, her own social media, releasing the article that was like, we just didn't align. My values are loyalty, you know, faithful, like blah, blah, blah. And like, we did not align on those. The PR move was perfect. I think the way she handled the whole entire situation has, you know, the public perception of Megan Thee Stallion has always been high from where I can see, right. It's always been really high. I get real parasocial about Megan Thee Stallion. Same. I did actually like cry a little bit when I thought about the fact that she cried on Broadway, like as they were closing the show. Like for some reason that part just made me so fucking sad and angry that I was just like thinking about this incredible woman in tears. Right. You know, because like just the pressure of it all and just I'm sure the suddenness of it all. Yeah. But, you know, the public favor of her has always been like really high. And now it's astronomical.
It's skyrocketed.
Buy your Megan Thee Stallion stocks now, people.
Yes.
Like, she's red hot.
I swear.
I mean, you know, if you thought she was at her peak before, I don't even know what we're about to see. I can't even imagine like the heights that she's going to reach. Like,
for sure.
Having gone through this, you know, the glow up, the after breakup.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I'm not worried about that for 1 second. I saw a lot of people saying that they were upset that she blasted him on social media or whatever. And I'm just like, how stupid are some of y'all? What do you mean? It was going to get out anyway. So she decided to handle it her way, which I think, you know, Klay Thompson had this, I guess, so-called good guy persona. And I think it's very important to show the world who somebody really is. So what's wrong with that? But also, too, she's standing on business.
They're acting like she took the low road when he cheated on her. There's nothing lower, literally. Like, what do you mean? She took the high road still.
And you know what's crazy? Remember when she made dinner, Thanksgiving dinner or whatever for the family? I remember when I watched that. I said his reaction was just very underwhelming to me. And then I didn't think anything else of it. I was like, maybe he's just used to her cooking, you know, but now it all makes sense. Do you think Klay actually ever liked her? Or do you think he got with her to humble her from the very beginning?
We're about to open kind of a can of worms because while I can't speak to that exactly, I do think that he was jealous of her in some way, shape or form. Like he wanted to get with her and then take his rightful place in the relationship as the dominant one. You know what I'm saying? When it's clear.
It was never going to happen.
It was never going to happen. And my thing about the Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm glad that you brought it up because that was kind of one of my hindsight is 2020 realizations because I didn't comment on that video because I thought it was weird. I was like, something about this is like not like, I want to hype her up because the food looks so good and like I want to eat it. But like I was so distracted by that I didn't notice the most glaring part, which is he wasn't there. He wasn't there to help her. Right? If you're going to be like, you know, this is like my person and they've offered to make Thanksgiving dinner for my family, I don't want to see Megan Thee Stallion like sweating in the kitchen. You know, like, how can I come over and help? Like, how can I be your sous chef? Like, how can I let me clean the... Right. Let me clean the vegetables. Let me cut something up. Let me, watch something while it's like frying or cooking or whatever. Like I don't have to do the important stuff, but let me be of service. Let me be of help
in some way.
Right. And then I'm also like picturing, how did that conversation even come up? Like he had the nerve to ask Megan Thee Stallion to make his family a Thanksgiving dinner while he and his family just sat up at their house and waited for her to come with this whole feast.
See, I'm not sure.
Something like he did not want. I just saw this video of Shira 7 and I know it has to be an old clip, but she said, men don't want peace. If men wanted peace, the world would be at peace. Fact. Men don't want peace. Yeah. And I think that he wanted Megan Thee Stallion to be his piece. He wanted to humble her in that way.
Yeah.
He wanted to say, yeah, I've got Megan Thee Stallion in the kitchen cooking my family this entire Thanksgiving dinner. It is a humbling in a way, but a lot of men think that's just how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Now,
but no, like now that you bring it up and now that we're seeing kind of the red flags in hindsight, I think you bring up a really good point that did he ever like her? Or was it all just like a
notch under his belt type of
let
situation?
Me see. Yeah, let me see.
I also saw women saying she cooked for him. She was doing too much. She was doing wifely duties at girlfriend prices. And I'm going to tell y'all, first and foremost, Megan Thee Stallion has always said she liked to cook. So we can't police people's the way that they show love or the way that they, whatever their love language is, you have the right to do that early, late, whatever. At the end of the day, he was going to fumble her anyways. So
exactly,
you know, if she would have waited 2 years to start cooking for the family, people would have had something to say about that. They would have been like, well, she should have been showing what she can do from day one. You know, they would just reverse it. No matter what Megan Thee Stallion does, and ever since the pandemic, no matter what she does, it is wrong in the eyes of certain types of people, miserable people.
Of course.
And it's just, but I just wonder, I get the vibe that he either possibly got pressured by these red pill men. Maybe he's been red pill this whole time. I don't know. Either way, though, she didn't lose anything. He lost her.
Absolutely.
Because he's going to go off and be seen as a cheater because he's a cheater. So he's going to cheat on any other woman he gets with. We know this now. And
like his public
he's gonna be
stock
forgotten.
value.
Yeah. He's going to be forgotten.
Dropped.
Yeah. Because
I can't wait to forget all about him.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I already have. Like I'm never gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to that man. Like nobody's ever gonna know who he is again.
I didn't know who he was before he started dating Megan Thee Stallion. Now, if you watch basketball and you're a basketball fan, you probably knew who he was. I'm telling you.
But
so many.
You also knew who Megan Thee Stallion was, though, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Didn't you? But those of us who know who Megan is don't necessarily know who Klay is.
Megan,
she's global.
People know who she is in Japan and Australia.
Absolutely.
And Klay Thompson is just known as the WNBA, or not WNBA. NBA player in the U.S.
The MNBA. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But no, I think I'm thinking about WNBA because that's allegedly who the side chick was, some woman basketball player that they took a picture of. I'm not sure.
I don't even care who it is.
My whole thing
is you can't embarrass Megan Thee Stallion by cheating on her.
That
only looks
yourself.
dumb for you. Yeah. You're the one that's looking like a dummy. And I'm glad you brought up red pill because I was going to suggest that we do this for our This You story, but I think we can wrap it up into this. There's been this post going around for the past week on Reddit and other social media. I know Bourbon Bougie covered it like pretty extensively, as she always does. We always got to give our Bourbon Bougie shout out. Yep. So she breaks down the whole post, but there was this whole post going around about the red pill and dread game. And it almost sounds like, you know, when Megan speaks about the breakup, it almost sounds like that's what Klay was doing. So dread game is the thing where essentially it's instructions on how to emotionally abuse somebody. And because the advice is being given in like red pill subreddits, it's specifically how to abuse a woman. And part of that is sort of this hot and cold treatment, this intermittent like reward. So sometimes you do something and the man is being given advice to be like nice to you about it. And then other times, like he's told to be inconsistent. He's told to be kind of like keep you on your toes always. But it's essentially, again, it's abuse. It's advice on how to abuse somebody. And so when she said, you know, holding you down through all your horrible mood swings and treatment towards me during your basketball season, now you don't know if you can be monogamous. So that's basically is almost giving a reference to that. The fact that he also kept a cheating journal. A cheating journal is giving you need validation. You desperately are seeking validation, and that validation you're seeking is supposed to come from other men, because who the fuck else are you going to show a cheating journal to?
The journal is kind of giving, and I'm not saying that this is the case for him, but I'm just saying what it's giving. It's just like those men who are on the down low, who keeps count like actual count of the women they sleep with, because they're trying to fight the demon of wanting to sleep with men that we talked about before.
It's almost like something they need to weird about.
They have to prove it to themselves. Yeah. And if you have a journal, because it's one thing when you ask a guy, how many women have you slept with? And he's 178 and counting. And you know the exact number. It's like, why you're trying to prove something to yourself at this point. And so a journal to me is kind of giving the same thing. I don't know. I never paid Klay any attention before. Didn't know who he was. I never really looked into his body language or anything. So I can't really say what I think about that, but that's what it's giving. And so this is not a loss to Megan at all. And the most important thing, and I did a video about this, the takeaway is that Megan Thee Stallion is not Klay's baby mama. She won.
She won. Yes. Congratulations,
that's all I give a damn
Megan.
about.
It's all I give a damn about. And the fact that she is not, in fact, embarrassed by him like some of y'all said she would be, because that was a crazy
I think she's
take to me from
disappointed
the
in her.
very beginning.
I don't know if she's embarrassed. She could be, but I don't know if that's the word. I think
even the public perception, though, it's like, you really thought people were going to be like, oh, how embarrassing for Megan. People are like, so now I have a chance. Yes.
Right.
People are in the comments like, Megan, I'll treat you right. Like, nobody gives a shit that she got cheated on. That's not a reflection of her as a person whatsoever.
This might be one of because the shock with Halle Berry back in the day, the shock with Beyonce and all these other people. But Megan Thee Stallion in this day and age, while we're going through this whole decentering men phase and this global awakening amongst women, this Megan Thee Stallion situation just might be the light bulb moment that women need to know it's all men. It has nothing to do with how beautiful you are. It has nothing to do with how sexy you are, how smart you are, how accomplished you are. If a man wants to cheat on you, he will do it. There's nothing you can do to keep a man from cheating. And what I talked about in my video really quickly too was that I just want women to know when a man cheats on you, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with his insecurities, his demons he's fighting, his lack of dick discipline, or whatever he has going on in his mind. He needs validation from other men, from other women, whatever. It has nothing to do with you. And so I think this might be the thing that kind of really, truly wakes women up, which I think women have already been waking up, like I said. But this is a lesson, and a good lesson for women. And Megan had to go, in my opinion, through this little disappointment in exchange for the rest of her life.
Oh my God, yeah. Not having kids with that man.
Not having kids with him, not marrying him. And that would have been humiliating at that point. Like, you married him, you did all this stuff, and he still was going to do what he was going to do anyway. I'm just glad she got out before.
Me too.
She was saved by the bell. That's what I put in my Megan Thee Stallion was saved by the bell. Because I also thought her brand might have been changing a little bit, kind of towards that sort of girlfriend, housewife, whatever.
Wag,
and that wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked for her brand, in my opinion. And the universe looked out for her and let this happen.
Truly.
So that she didn't go down that road. That's really what I believe.
Because genuinely, the moment that you start finding yourself like being a man's piece, that's when you already fucked up. When a man is parading you in front of his family, like she's such a good girlfriend, right? She cooked you all this dinner, blah, blah, blah. Run. Any man who's willing to just dump all of that responsibility on you. And like I said, he didn't even come over. He didn't even help to load up the dishes into the car. He was just chilling there when she brought all that shit over. Watch out for shit like that.
I'm throwing his entire family under the bus as well. Yeah. His mother, his dad, So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go out on a limb. Klay is trash. The rest of anybody who has anything to do with him is trash. They're going to be forgotten about, just like people didn't know who he was on a bigger scale now before Megan Thee Stallion. He's the one who fumbled Megan Thee Stallion. He's going to go fade into oblivion. So it's either going to be the void or the wood chipper for Klay at this point.
Yeah.
And no one cares. And the reason why I say his family can go too is because I'm pretty sure they knew. His mom for sure.
Oh, yeah.
His dad. They know.
Everybody
I'm sure
has
they
to
met
have known.
plenty of other women that he's brought over. So they knew they're trash. And I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. And it is what it is. Once you break up with a dude, you break up with his family anyway. Who cares? Move on with your life.
Yeah.
I just feel bad that she's in this world by herself. You know what I mean? All the most important people in her life are dead. And I think she probably thought she was going to find family with them. But it wasn't meant to be. If Megan finds this video, it wasn't meant to be. You will be fine.
It literally wasn't meant to be.
This was not meant to be.
You will be fine. And the next man should be dealing with your mood swings.
Absolutely.
The next man, never be a man's piece again, ever again. Ever again, Megan. I swear to God, they should be dealing with your mood swings.
Facts.
And like never hold a man down, never do anything extra for a man, never cook for him, period. Or his family. And I live by that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
think she just likes to cook though. She's from Texas.
Cook for yourself. Honey.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I get it. I mean, I get it.
I think
but
she would have
maybe
cooked for whoever. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know, but that's the thing. It's like you have to, and I hate that for us as women.
I know.
And it works out for me because I don't like to cook, but it's like, yeah, sometimes you do have to hold out on being your truest, most lover girl self until it's been long enough. And you still, even at that point, do it behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
I would never make a public spectacle of it like that.
I agree.
No.
I hope she learned from this in that way. Because she's on to greater things.
She's on to the bigger and better things herself.
What if she became 4B or Decenterman?
That would be
best case scenario.
Best case scenario, because she can always change her mind.
Of course.
There's a man around every corner that would be like, Megan Thee Stallion.
Facts.
Like, it's fine. You do what you need for the period of time that you need. Take what you need, leave what you don't.
You have our support here at the Audaci-Tea Podcast, and the girlies have been coming through.
There's nothing I love to see more. And that's because she's always genuinely been a girl's girl.
She has.
That's one thing, like, that's her karma.
She has.
That's her karma, because she's never been a hater.
She loves her hotties. She's for her hotties, for sure.
Yeah. And we're for her. So, all right. Well, we have some other tea to cover. Let's watch some videos from the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where there was, I should give some context, where there was an attempted shooting. I think there was gunshots fired, and we're mostly focused. Listen, I'm sure we all have a lot of theories at this point as to all of that. I'm not here for that. I'm just here to talk shit about the men. This is a wall of shame, and we're putting 2 more men on it. So let's see. Okay, so for those of you that can't see it, the video says RFK Jr. ditches his wife while fleeing for his own safety during evacuation. These are the leaders. These are the protectors, and especially on the conservative side, this is how these men like to fancy themselves. And here's, again, for those who can't see, we are looking at a photo right now of Stephen Miller using his pregnant wife as a human shield. And Sovereign, were we not just literally just talking about this? Did we not literally just in our other tea time say these women are just body bags for these men?
Literally.
Like he's literally crouched, like hiding behind his very visibly pregnant wife. See, that's what's embarrassing. This is a way in which a man can embarrass you. That's embarrassing. You got pregnant for this man. You let this man impregnate you, and now he's using you as a body shield.
Yeah.
Because that's all you are.
When I first saw that, I tried to say, I tried to rationalize it in my own head. Like, okay, maybe he was really trying to like hold her and make sure. And then I was like, nah, because what I noticed about protector men, they want to be in front. They want to take the lead, and they will hold your hand or maybe your waist to the side or in the back of them. Right? That would be the protector
immediately
stance.
Get behind me. That's why we have that saying.
Absolutely.
Get behind me.
Yeah.
Like
it would have been a reflex. His reflex would have been, get down and get behind me. I'm shielding you. He was absolutely using her as a shield. And I'm sorry, because I tried to like say, well, no, there's no way these men are, no, because don't get me wrong, I'm not surprised. But sometimes every now and then you still try to say, no, they're not this terrible.
I love that you're skeptical in both ways. I love that you're like, listen, I'll work out all the angles in my head. Yeah. That's why I love you.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny to me that like these cannot be the same people that care about unborn babies.
Oh my God. This is all the proof you need.
Yeah. He had an unborn baby right there. And he was
his blood, his legacy.
Right.
He put his wife and his legacy, we know his lineage, but his legacy in the line of fire. I can't. Yeah.
That is so insane. You should both be embarrassed. I'm sorry. That is embarrassing. That is actually embarrassing. A man cheating on you is not embarrassing, but you marrying a man that you knew, I mean, she knows his views. She supports his views. Absolutely. She's come out in support. And you thought you were going to be the exception. Maybe the man is obviously a sociopath. And
maybe
you
she
thought
told
you were
him
going
to
be
get
the
behind.
exception.
Maybe she said, "Get behind me, babe."
And that I wouldn't see.
No, I'm not.
I feel like that's something that Pearl would absolutely advocate for.
Do. Pearl would do that. Mm-hmm. Pearl would say, "It's my job. I'm the one that's 6 feet. You're 5'7". It's my job to take care of you." I believe it 100%. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to laugh because it's funny how around every single corner, these people's actions will go out of their way to prove that they don't have any ideological convictions. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can talk about this shit all you want, and you can talk about like how and why women shouldn't be allowed to vote, or how you value unborn children, or how abortions are terrible, or how men should be leaders and providers and protectors. And every single time these people are put to the test, they fail miserably and publicly. And then all that their supporters do is basically like find justifications for it. And then it's like, all that tells me is that the lot of you actually have no ideological convictions. It's like, I don't have to take any of you seriously now, because if you as the, you know what I'm saying? If you as the followers had any ideological convictions, you would be able to look at that and say, that's wrong. And I can no longer like align myself with you or your movement. Right. But instead you look at that and you say, well, you know, they were just doing their best. And it's like, no, these are two very prominent men in your party that, again, claims male superiority, claims male leadership, claims all of this stuff, advocacy, protecting the women and the babies. And here they are, just fuck the women, fuck the babies. Like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
And some people don't perceive that as hypocrisy, which is absolutely nuts.
That's why these people keep getting away with stuff, because people are not connecting those dots. Like, a lot of people just either don't have the brain bandwidth to connect these dots, or maybe they just don't care. I don't know. But
they don't care. They know that it's all, they would do the same thing. They would also use their wife as a human shield because they don't give a fuck about women. And that's why I'm embarrassed on the women's behalf.
Yeah.
Because it's the fact that you know, associate with men like this who are openly hateful in their views of women and how they talk about women and how they want to treat women politically. And then you really think you're going to be the exception. No, the writing was always on the wall. I'm
starting to wonder too, though, with women who are married to men like this. There's a part of me, because I'm a woman, and even though I really don't like MAGA women, they just have a certain mindset that I just don't align with. But I'm still a woman, and there's always going to be that part of me that's like, is she really just brainwashed? Is she just like under the patriarchy and she's trying to survive? Or is she really this treacherous? Because we know a lot of these women really are that treacherous. It's who they are. But, you know, I always try to leave space for the women who maybe want to get out secretly, but they can't because they don't have anybody to turn to.
Looking at Usha Vance. Blink twice.
Perfect example.
Blink twice, girl.
Perfect example. I just don't even know if she truly aligns with... I'm not saying she doesn't. I don't know. But women like that, based on what it seems like, maybe they just feel like they have to follow the leadership of their men, even though deep down, you know, when you watch movies like The Handmaid's Tale and all that, there was always those women who followed along because they had to, but they always had their own agenda behind the scenes. They really didn't actually believe in these values and so on and so forth. So that's it. I just always wonder, like, on one hand, I'm like, these women are getting exactly what they deserve. If you're supporting a hateful man, then whatever happens to you, whatever. But then on the other hand, I'm like, they're still women. And there's always going to be a part of me that's just like, can they be helped? Can they be saved? Sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Of course. I think it's like kind of an equal split. I do think that the only women that can belong to that kind of movement is either willfully like narcissistic, sociopathic, like dark triad women, or women that are completely brainwashed and will have to learn the lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
I think there's no in between. I think it's kind of a place with like no middle ground. Like, I don't think you can be sane in a way and like
in either
get on
way.
board.
Absolutely.
Like, I think either way, you're kind of like either brainwashed or actually like you have Machiavellian tendencies.
Unless
like
you're
dark triad.
But I was going to say, unless you're Erica Kirk, because I honestly think that's just who she is.
I think she could be a dark triad.
You think so?
I think she could. That behavior, to be so completely out of like touch with reality. Like, I think you have to be somewhere like in the delusional levels of, like some kind of a mental.
It's making me want to go back and watch the Drewski skit now.
I know. It's so good.
It's so I want everything organic for the dog or whatever. Oh my God, I was in tears. But yeah, she's delusional.
He's too good. Yeah. I think they're all delusional just in their own different ways. Whether it's, but yeah, like I said, I don't think there's a whole lot of room for like nuanced opinions or like middle ground or anything like that. That's why, that's kind of why like I love our movement is that there is a spectrum. And whenever kind of there isn't, whenever you have to choose between like one or the other, it's like a binary choice. I think that's a little bit, points to brainwashing or points to something being amiss.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been our tea time. We are going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to discuss why misandry is not a real thing and why if there's anything that's hurting men, it is in fact misogyny. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are here to discuss the problem of misandry. And by discuss, I mean debunk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because misandry, and I really want to start, like, kind of kick us off by saying this, that what men perceive as misandry is actually women's response to misogyny and men as like an institution. Men perceiving things as misandry is the result of men not being able to parse out between actual prejudice and the very real experiences that like women have, and just them not being able to apply empathy into the situation and like literally refusing to see women's experiences for what they actually are. Because later in this discussion, we're definitely going to address what misandry would actually look like if it was real. And I think you'll find that it's very different than courtside with women or men aren't allowed to cry or,
For
that
sure.
All of that is, as we'll get to, a lot of the claims that are made by men's rights activists, which is such a funny.
Oh my God.
We were all laughing about this in the studio.
Ryan is
earlier.
laughing
we
again.
We were like having a field day with this because men's rights are arbitrary. Like men's rights don't come under question ever. Like you don't need to have activism for men's rights because the rights that men don't have is rights that they don't want to have.
Oh my God. Thank you. That literally was so perfect. That's exactly it.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to kick it off with that. I know that we both have like a lot of points to make, but I just needed to get that out of the way because it's kind of pointless to spend like a whole episode talking about it without acknowledging that like women reacting to men's actions and the way that men treat us as an institution is not misandry.
It's absolutely not misandry.
It is in fact just the consequences of misogyny, of the patriarchy, a system that hurts all of us at the end of the day. So
there it is. It is so frustrating too because it's like women were conditioned, brought up in a society to center men. Like literally to center them. And that's not enough. For some reason, a woman centering her entire life around men is just not enough. And the moment a woman just says, I think I'm going to decenter men. I think I want to go to college. or I think I want to start a business or whatever. It's like, misandrist, you're a misandry. And all it is that a woman is just choosing to like focus on herself. Men literally, I've been in so many comment sections, including my own, of men calling women misandrist because a woman saying, I'm just choosing myself. Simply that.
Yeah.
That's literally all it is. So you're not going to cook for a man. You're not going to cater to a man. You're not going to, wait, what do you mean you're not having kids? You're child free? Oh my God, what about a man's lineage or a legacy or whatever? It is just like, you're a misandrist. No, that's not what misandry is actually. Like, no.
It's, and if you actually Google my name on Reddit, if you search my name on Reddit, you will actually find the misandrist accusations, flying left and right. Yeah.
Crazy.
And I do think it's crazy because I actually I've made it very clear in my videos that I don't think that men are like actually, physically degenerate. Like a lot of women will say that. They'll be like, the Y chromosome is this thing. And I kind of, I wash my hands of that discourse because we don't know. We don't know for a fact. We don't know if you took the socialization out of things, if it would be the same. But I'm really glad that you brought that up though, because I think that in order for it to be as bad as misogyny, like for misandry to be as bad as misogyny, it would have to have the weight of an institution behind it that is as powerful as the patriarchy.
Absolutely.
So without that, and it makes sense that a lot of men don't like believe that misandry is very real, and they can only get there logically by denying the existence of the patriarchy.
That is so true.
So like, right?
And they do deny it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard men deny the patriarchy and then not realize that they are in the same sentence acknowledging that the patriarchy exists, which is absolutely fascinating. So they know.
Insane.
They know. They would have to first on one hand, so basically it all depends on what suits their narrative, what the conversation is in that moment. Because, if we're sitting there having a conversation with them and we're like, women are just going to decenter men. We're just going to go our own way. Yeah, but that cell phone that you're using, men created that cell phone. And the reason why y'all are able to walk around free is because men let y'all be free. And so then it's like, oh, so then wait a minute. You acknowledge that we're in a patriarchy, right? This is a man's world. Y'all are the one who built the buildings and did all the things. And first of all, we don't know if a man actually created the cell phone or not, because we have a long history of men taking women's work and
at this point, I just assume
absolutely
a man did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Right. So it's just, let's say he did, fine. Okay. But women are still going to go their own way. But then, if we say women have been brought up to center men and they're like, y'all are not centering men. Y'all saying y'all don't want to get married. Y'all don't want to have kids. Y'all are choosing careers over the nuclear family. And it's like, which is it? Are we centering men or are we not? Is it a man's world or is it not a man's world? It's just, they don't really think it through. And I think a lot of times it's just going back to the not all men conversation we had last week. A lot of men just don't care. They just don't care about anybody's experiences except their own. It's like they don't want to listen to women because at the end of the day, it proves that they don't see us as human, because no matter how much women cry out, no matter how much we complain, it's all about men. It's all about them, though. It's like, but she got raped because she wore that short skirt, but she's like traumatized, and she's saying right now, I don't want to have anything to do with men right now because a man just like violated me. Yeah, but she shouldn't wear the skirt though. When I tell you have no empathy, like no matter what the argument is, no matter what angle you take, they have no empathy.
It's the only way you get there.
That's the only way you can get there, is to have it. And they don't. And it's like, you can't have a conversation with them because a lot of them don't have any empathy. And without the empathy, you're never going to understand how to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. It's almost impossible. I would say it's impossible. The act of empathy is literally putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. And you can't do it because you don't have any empathy. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's frustrating, but.
Absolutely. No, you're right. Like these kind of men's rights only come into question when we're discussing women's rights or when we're discussing the need for feminism. And then it's like, well, what about men? And it's like, okay, so I know you haven't looked at the statistics. I know you haven't considered, like, a woman's actual lived experience, you've only considered your own. And that makes you a bad and selfish person. Because again, for misandry to be real, I mean, why don't we address that? Like, if misandry was real, that would mean that men are experiencing hatred based on
just being men.
Just being men, exactly. So, and from women in particular.
Yep.
And not only that, not only are you receiving hate, but that hate is manifesting in like physical consequences. Yep. So misandry would be men being harassed, stalked, assaulted, raped, killed. If we had significant numbers that this was happening to men at the hands of women, that would be misandry. Because you can't bring up, the sexual assault statistics against men in a conversation about men's rights, because then it gets really awkward when you ask, well, who's committing that?
Right.
Like when you ask about all the violence, when men are like, well, men experience violence at the hands of whom? Right, because it's always other men. So you're not experiencing misandry.
You're experiencing misogyny at the hands of other men, not misandry.
Right. And if anything, I mean, you're experiencing like senseless violence at the hands of men, like anything but misandry. Those men don't hate you just because you're a man. They just see you as a vulnerable person that they can exploit, which, you're right, that is tied to misogyny.
Yeah.
If you're seen as vulnerable, that means you're seen as closer to a woman. And this is kind of what I mean when I say, too, that say what you will about biology, but there's also this concept of women as a concept, as a costume that men even force onto other men. Yeah. Like the reason that men are afraid to go to prison is why? It's not because of misandry. It's because of misogyny. Absolutely. Because they don't want to be the what? The bitch. The bitch. That's misogyny. So if you're like, I live my life in fear of being perceived by other men as weak, vulnerable, emotional, unprotected, whatever, because that would make me closer to a woman and that would give those men the go-ahead to abuse me and to, do things to me, then you're not experiencing misandry. Right. You're experiencing literal misogyny.
Literal. Same thing with the military. Same thing with the whole draft or whatever. Misandrous, that's not misandry that's doing that. As a matter of fact, it's so many women who I've seen get on social media and talk about, I'm just disentering men. I don't care about this or whatever. And then they found out that the draft might happen. And they're like, my son isn't going, or my, So even in those situations, women are still willing to shield the men in their lives or the men that they care about from being forced to go overseas or whatever. So it's like, even if you were to peel back all the layers of why women would say, I don't like men or that, I hate men or whatever, typically it's because of the men. Like there's whatever they went through, a man caused it. And it's like, it still goes back to you. But even though, so a while ago, we were talking about how when a man is a misogynist, that actually kills women. It harms women physically, emotionally, by law, all of that. Misandry, a woman just wants you to leave her alone. A woman will just leave you alone. If a woman says, I don't like men, she's not going to harm you. She just don't want to be bothered. She's like, leave me alone. But when you're talking about misogyny, that woman is over there minding her own business and you're going to go stalk her. You're going to catcall her. You're going to harass her. You probably might rape her if you get the opportunity and or kill her. That's what misogyny does. That will be the difference between misogyny and misandry. One
it's a visceral experience.
The other one doesn't do anything. The other one is just like, I'm just going to Walmart. Like I'm just minding my own business. That's literally it. I'm not harming you. I'm not calling you names. I'm not doing anything. Just leave me alone, sir. And they can't leave women alone. They can't leave women. So I think that proves who needs who more or something, or who, you know what I mean? Because women just want to be, women and girls just want to be able to walk down the street and exist without being harmed, without being disrespected. That is it. And then you have to be policed on what you're wearing when you're just enjoying a 85-degree weather day. It's like, it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you have on shorts. And it's just like, well, you were asking for it when that man came up to you. We can't even exist in the summertime? Like, damn. Like, we just out here with our friends or family having fun. Or with your kids or whatever.
Yeah, and the exact reverse of that would be misandry.
Facts.
So if like women were always like, hey, You know, if you don't want somebody to, like you were saying, like you said once in our parallel universe episode, you're like, if you don't want somebody to come up and squeeze you by the package so hard that it's bleeding or whatever, right? You shouldn't have worn those biker shorts as a man.
Right.
You shouldn't have worn the gray sweatpants. You shouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? And that would be misandry. That would be, misandry would be us having never had a male president and everybody acting like that's a normal thing.
Yeah. It's not
and
normal
nobody
for a man to be a president.
Right. Yeah. Men shouldn't be president.
Yeah.
Men are terrible leaders.
Yeah.
Like, and we had these, you know, cultural narratives, which would be correct, by the way, as to why men shouldn't be leaders or president.
Yeah.
Misandry would bar men from education, access to resources, have their body policed and placed under various laws where they have no say in what happens to them. Like they could cross a certain state line, like they would have to be afraid to travel. Because if they went to certain states and, for example, you were able to see their print, right, then maybe the laws would be we just cut it off. No, because I'm so serious. Because what do you mean if a woman gets pregnant in a certain state, she can't even leave that state to get an abortion, and she has to just live with the consequences of like what a man did to her, of something that wouldn't have happened without a man there?
Absolutely.
Like, okay, then we should have the same. That would be misandry.
Yeah.
If your print is showing, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like the third time you do it, the first time, you know, maybe it's a warning, maybe it's a fine. The second time is like a public lashing. The third time we cut it off.
Yeah.
That's what it would look like for there to be laws against men's bodies that are unfair, that they can't control. And that would only depend on if like another woman or another man or something was like, hey, I can see his print. Let me report him to the authorities. Like that's how it would feel. That's how it would have to be. And then all of us as a society would have to make excuses for all of this behavior and say that, no, your package shouldn't be showing because women are leaders and you're leading them astray. And this is why women cheat on their husbands because y'all are out here with your print, with your package showing. And women, how are women supposed to help themselves? If they can tell that it's a D.
Oh my God. With the catching print thing?
Yeah. If they can tell that it's a D, what's a woman supposed to do? She can't control herself.
Yeah. Women are put here to give birth.
Women are visual creatures.
Yeah, we're put here to give birth. So it makes sense that we're going to just be running around looking for D-sized dicks forever.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. It only makes sense that that's what we will be running around. Like a chicken with our heads cut off looking for peen, like at all times. So what's the problem? I don't get it.
And we would be asking men to take responsibility for women's behavior.
Absolutely.
That would be misandry.
Facts.
That's exactly what it would look like, is it would look like us on a global scale. And like I said, this has only happened twice that I'm aware of, when that woman set that man on fire and Sha'Carri Richardson getting a DV charge. That's the only time I've ever seen women at scale be like, well, what was he doing there? What was he wearing? And it was very clearly in jest. It was very clearly satire. It was very clear. Like the women were not actually asking these questions. But as women, we live with that. Like we live with that. Men genuinely asking those questions, because part of it is like men can see women doing this and they can assume, because we're not a misandrist society, they can assume that women are just doing that to prove a point. Yeah. They can assume that women are, you know what I'm saying? There's a certain level of satire and it's not actually threatening to them. Right. Because this is not the way that we as a society think.
Yeah. Absolutely. It reminds me of a video I sent. I think I sent it to you like maybe a couple weeks ago. And it was the girls that were dressing up like dudes. They put on like mustaches and beards and hats and all that. And they said, we're going to dress up like men so we can go out on the town and be a menace.
Yes.
And they were drinking, all the mannerisms that men do, hanging up on the wall, watching all the women walking by, you know, the man postures. And it was very fun to watch. But when the guys were coming up to the girls, they were not in fear of any of those women actually doing anything. The guys were like smiling, like, what y'all doing? Y'all crazy, ha ha ha. But in reality, it's harmless when women play around. They were not in fear at all. But in reality, when we're out at the club, which I don't go to the club anymore, but when we're out in public at a party or anything like that, we really do have a fear of like, we can't set our drinks down for real. or we can't go to the bathroom by ourselves.
And that's our responsibility, mind you.
Yeah.
And the way we deal with that as a society is not by being like, men are not allowed in the clubs.
Right.
Because they can't behave themselves.
Right.
Like, men have to prove their way out of like club jail. Like, you're in club jail to start out, and then you have to like demonstrate an understanding of consent. You have to be on the other side of like what consent feels like when you're saying no.
Yeah.
And then somebody just keeps going.
Absolutely.
I think men should maybe experience that because again, it's the empathy thing.
Yeah.
It's the empathy thing. It's like you should have to do things that make you feel viscerally like you're actually unsafe or like there's something at stake. Because for men, there's nothing at stake. That's the other thing of like why this is not a misandrous society. You stand to lose nothing by a woman being mean to you.
Absolutely. Like, your life is not threatened, nothing. I think one of the ways, which is one of the reasons why I would say men are afraid to go to prison, because you're amongst the worst of the worst in prison. They're in there for all sorts of things. But I think the one thing that will really reel into a man's mind, like what it feels like, you would have to be cornered. And there's a bunch of, let's say 2 or 3 really big guys that are like way bigger than you coming at you. And their objective is to rape you as a man. They're all 3 of them are about to take it, no matter what. You don't have any gun. You don't have no way to protect yourself. You have nothing. And they're coming towards you and you're in a corner. You know, a lot of men will be terrified. So don't get me wrong. I know there's men out there who absolutely love that scenario. But there's a lot of men who will be terrified at the thought that these 3 big buff dudes are on their way to literally take it from you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I honestly feel like a lot of men, or probably most men, should go through that scenario. It's almost like an episode of Punk'd. You know, where like you don't know that this is not real. That fear needs to be in you.
I'm not saying you have to go through with it. I'm saying like...
No, they don't have to go through it. I'm saying you would just need to be in that scenario where you don't know that this is just a prank or whatever. But that fear, that adrenaline, to me would be the thing that would make some men be like, oh my God, I didn't like how that felt. I can only imagine what my daughter would feel if she was in that situation. So yeah, it's like, but women, like you were saying, this is an actual real fear. Women are in their graves right now because the men are doing this to them. Women, we have to be very careful when we go outside, when we go even walking your dog down the street. You have to be careful. So many women have gotten raped and killed just going on a morning run. A morning run that they did every day for 5 years or whatever. And then on the 6th year, day 1, some man, was stalking them, raped them, threw their body in the woods or whatever. This stuff happens to women on a regular basis. And so that's the difference. When we literally cannot exist as women without being catcalled. And remember, and harassed and hurt and all that. But remember when we were talking about how if you ask any woman on the planet what age she was when grown men started catcalling her, and most girls will tell you, 10, 11, 12, grown men, late 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. Oh, she's going to be a heartbreaker. Ooh, look at the legs on her. And you're 12 years old and he's like 40.
No, grown men hollering out their cars.
Yes.
Give me your number, baby.
Yeah.
Let's meet up later. What are you doing later?
Hanging outside middle schools and high schools looking for unsuspecting young, naive girls who don't know the world yet. But
Sovereign, misandry is real because men don't get compliments.
Because
men don't
get
a woman
compliments. Says, no, I can't give you my number because I have a boyfriend. That's misandry. You know what I mean? Like,
that's misandry. Yeah, she just like hates men. I'm also like, do you guys really think like, even let's take like a practical example. Do you guys think that dogs have the power the brain power to be misandrous? Because a lot of dogs are.
You know what? Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I know that they're not hating on you because you're just a man. A lot of dogs, especially dogs you would rescue from a shelter, they are very skittish around men. They do not like men. And I will let you think about that and fucking figure out why. Yup.
Those are real studies. Those are real studies.
Those are real studies, real experience. I don't think I've ever met a shelter dog that liked men. Like everyone that I've met who has a dog that's from a shelter is like, they always have to tell my husband, like, you know, she's not going to warm up to you like right away. She doesn't like men. She's skittish around men. So are dogs misandrist? Or do you think that literally even dogs, female dogs, have such a lived experience that they make it a baseline to be afraid of and skittish of men?
Yeah.
Bro, that should make you sick.
Right.
That should absolutely be like gut wrenching, but all men can think about is themselves.
If you really think about it, everything besides a man, no, not even besides men, even other men are afraid of other men, but everything, kids.
But not because of misandry.
Kids are afraid of men, puppies, dogs, everybody, everything is afraid of men. And it's not misandry, like you said. It's a I need to look in the mirror type of question. You know?
And it's how people tell them to feel, including other men. Soon as men have a daughter, what are they like? Oh, she's never going to date. I'm never going to let her go on a date. I'm going to be cleaning my gun when her boyfriend comes over. Are you a misandrist?
Yeah.
Are you a misandrist if you say that? No, you're just a man who knows other men.
Absolutely.
You're a man who knows what other men act like. Because again, real misandry would be like us as a society genuinely believing that men are inferior to women. That's misandry.
And can you truly love and care for your prey if you're a predator?
Right.
You can't.
Because most men will frame themselves as that too.
Yeah.
I have no control. I am a visual creature. That's a predator.
It's not in our nature to be monogamous. It's not in our nature. We're hunters. That's what they like to say. We're men are natural hunters. Okay. What are you hunting?
And then you're surprised that people treat you as a danger, as a baseline, like not a good thing. You gave yourself that reputation.
Literally.
So why are you surprised, right? It's like you should be mad. And again, my problem too is like, why are you mad at women because of this? It's men that told us this. It's men. It's our fathers. It's the men that argue with us online. I mean, Sarah last week was just saying that the best way to piss off a man is to agree with him when he's talking about how men are not good people.
Yeah.
Like, it just to be like, yeah, no, you're right. Men are just like that.
Yeah.
Because that's men's favorite excuse. Oh, we're just like that, you know?
And women are just like, we want to stay away from danger. That's just how we are. We don't want to smile in public. That's just how we are. And the craziest part is that's not even how we are. Women frown up in public a lot of times on purpose because we know that we have to protect ourselves, because men will look at your little nod as you're passing by as an invitation, because they suck at body language or they just don't care. And women have to, men don't understand the 1,000,001 defense mechanisms that women have. We have so many defense mechanisms.
Yes. Sometimes my husband comments on like my walking pace when I, because he likes to walk kind of slower.
Yeah.
And he's like, why are you always walking so fast? And I'm like, oh, that's because like, subconsciously, like when I'm alone, I have to look like I'm going somewhere. Like I always have to look like I'm not lollygagging.
Right.
Like I'm not just like taking a stroll, because if you do that, guess what's going to happen?
Absolutely.
You know, like men are just going to think you're available for a fucking conversation or like a, awkward encounter where they awkwardly try to hit on you.
Yeah.
Like they're like cold calling out in these streets. Like, and if you don't look like you're going somewhere with a purpose, with a briskness, with a quickness, they will just,
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I subconsciously learned to do that, because it's been enough times that it's like, if you don't look like you're on your way to somewhere,
it's an invitation to them.
It's almost like an invitation. Yeah. And again,
Which
that's
is
only
crazy.
something a predator would think. That's a way a predator would think.
The level of entitlement that a lot of men have, you ever see those videos where women are just out walking and there's a man. It's like, I just want to get a couple minutes of your time. And the women are like, no, thank you. And they're like, yeah, but you're very beautiful. Sir, no, thank you. Some of these women are single. Some of them are married. Some of them have a boyfriend. They'll tell the guys that. The guys still don't give a damn. And it's just like, you can hear it in the guy's voice. It's like, dang. I remember seeing another one where this man was mad and berating this woman because she had her phone in landscape mode instead of whatever the other one is. What's the other one? I forgot.
Portrait.
She was out there just filming herself, like exercising or going for a walk or something. And he was berating her because he's like, you don't want human contact? What's wrong with women these days? You would rather look down at your phone than to look up at me. The level of entitlement that they have.
And the level of irony that he literally recorded that on his walk.
Yeah.
While complaining about she's recording herself.
Right.
He literally turned the phone on himself and started recording. And so if somebody else wanted to say hi to him, they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't feel welcome to. So it's like they don't even care. That's what I mean.
It's actually scary. I'm laughing, but it's actually very scary.
Yes, because the level of hypocrisy can only be reached, once again, if you truly don't give a fuck about women. Like you truly, truly don't.
That is so true.
So, okay, so let's go over, because I think we both have ways in which the patriarchy and like misogyny is actually hurting men a lot more than misandry. So let's debunk some popular claims around men's rights, and then we'll debunk some popular, the claims that you have.
Okay.
Number one, we have men suffer from high rates of depression and suicide because of misandry. No, that's misogyny.
Facts.
You don't cry or have anyone to confide in because you don't want to be seen as a weak little girl. You won't go to therapy because you see talking about your feelings as feminine. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Like the only people that y'all feel safe enough to confide in are women. And you're asking women to do free emotional labor because you feel entitled to it.
Yep.
Through and through and through and through, that's all misogyny.
Yep.
All of that is misogyny. And so if that's hurting you, that's not misandry. You're not depressed because of misandry. You're not depressed because the world hates men. You're depressed because the world hates women, and that rubs off on how the world treats men.
That's such a good point.
Women are not allowed to cry either, just so y'all know. We get made fun of too when we cry. Women feel even more pressure to like never cry in public.
So true.
If anything. So yeah, I don't think that that's a very like good faith argument. All of these arguments are bad faith arguments, because if you really, really think about it, you could have solved this for yourself and for other men if you would have just listened to women a long time ago. So for example, men are denied their parental rights in court because of misandry. Nope, that's misogyny. We're wrong again. It's misogyny that makes you not want to be a good caretaker and fight for your paternity rights, because most of those, over 90% of those cases are awarded visitation, custody, whatever. As long as men actually fight for it, they are awarded that custody. It's because you don't want to fight for it, or because you view caretaking as a woman's job. And so you're like, well, if I had custody of my kid, I'd have to do all that. So I'm just going to let the mother take care of them, and I'm going to make a big stink about how she won't let me see them.
And think about all the ways that women sacrifice their jobs, trying to go to court. You have to take days off work. You have to take days off work if the kids are sick. The men don't want to do that. They don't want to miss out on money. The ones that only care about working, they can't imagine like, dang, I can't even go hang out with my friends this weekend because I have to watch the kid. Or I can't keep calling into work 2 or 3 times a day like the mom does. That's the mom's job. When they start weighing in on all the things that they would now have to do, they don't actually want joint custody. That's the reason why they don't get it, because they don't fight for it, because you don't want it.
Fight for it.
You don't fight for it because you don't really want it, because it's going to take way much more. It's going to take a lot more money than you think, because that little money that they bitch at women about with child support is like not even a $200
a month
of what you would have to pay if you had to pay for everything in the household. And she just paid the little $200 or $300 for child support. Yeah. A lot of them start realizing, and you remember we talked about those women who left the kids with the father.
Give up the custody.
Yeah.
Guess what
and
the men
that's
do?
When they see how hard it really
is. They fucking
is.
cry about it. They're like, that woman's a deadbeat. I can't believe she left me with this baby. And all she has to do is pay like $200 a month in child support, and it's not enough money. Yeah.
You're in the
women
congratulations.
Have been saying this.
You are now in the shoes of the woman. You sound like a baby mama, sir. You literally sound like this so-called bitter baby mama that don't want to let you see. That's who you sound like when you start whining. Now you understand what women are going through. So they don't even want the custody. So
No.
they just like to run with that narrative, and they want to blame it on misandry and feminist movement and all this other shit. And it's like, no, y'all really just don't want that responsibility. You want
Not at
to
all.
have the kids to make you look good in the patriarchy, but you don't actually want the responsibility of being a father.
No, not at all. And the last one I have is that men are profiled because of misandry, profiled as like angry or dangerous or whatever. And first of all, that's not because of misandry. That's because we have statistics that show that most violent crime is committed by men. So at a certain point, you're simply not going to look towards a woman and think that she's violent because women don't show that with their actions. Men do. So that one part of that is actual reality. The other part of that is that men profile other men because they're aware of how predatory other men are. Men will be the first to be like, no, I don't want to help that guy. Like, I don't want to get involved in all that. Like, I don't know who this man is, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They'll be the first to say, like, if a man is homeless, they'll be like, don't give him money. He's just going to spend it on drugs or beer. When men go to jail, it's like, oh, well, who was the bitch? Like all of that kind of stuff. Again, you are actually profiling men based on either their weakness or how predatory they are.
Yep.
None of that is misandrist. Not like, again, one of those is factual. One of those is a good consideration to have in mind, whether you're a man or a woman, because men commit violence against both men and women. And the other one is just simply misogyny. Again, you're profiling men based on how weak they are. You're like, oh, he was a bitch when he was in jail.
Right.
That's misogyny.
Absolutely. Women don't come up with this stuff. Women are not the ones who are saying you have to be this way in order to be seen as a man in the patriarchy. The only way women are the only way you would ever hear women saying that is because they are living in the patriarchy, and that's how we've been brainwashed to believe certain things. But many of us know better, and we're just like, we don't run this world. We don't run this system. Should we be running it? Should it be a matriarchy? Yes, it should. But then even when you tell men that, they're like, no, matriarchy will be bad because y'all are too emotional and whatever. And they also think that we believe that living in a matriarchy would be the inverse of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
And it's not that. Women wouldn't try to dominate and be in control over men, and there wouldn't be any systems put in place for men to like not be able to fend for themselves. Like, you have to be married to a woman to survive out here in these streets, you know, or what? It wouldn't be that. Women would want to put everybody, men and women, in the places where they are the most comfortable, where their strengths are. We would all work together. Like, would there be wars? It wouldn't be wars that we started. You know, would there be trafficking rings? No, it would be some underground shit that men are doing. It wouldn't be we wouldn't be spending millions and trillions of dollars on machine guns and a whole bunch of shit when we have a whole bunch of starving children. Like, we would be focusing on the betterment of everybody, including the men, because we know that men, a lot of their place is they are the ones who should be the helpmeets. We understand that, just like that guy was talking about, you know, I feel good when my wife asks me to do something great. I understand that that's my place. It is. Like, you know, and unless you really are a actual leader as a man, where no one can let you lead and no one's stopping you, and, you know, you actually are trying to help people and be better, then yes, a man can be in that leadership role as well. But with the patriarchy, only men should be up top, and we're going to only have women in the mix as long as we can use them as bully bags or fodder or as a human body shield while they're pregnant. You know, like, we're literally not, that's just not the way things would run.
And I just want to know too, like, do you guys think all of these organizations, like all of these nonprofits, are also misandrist? Or do they have enough data to just know that men don't pass on the aid, the food, the clothes, the blankets, the everything? They hoard it. They don't even pass it on to their own family. They will try to sell it. They will try to hoard it. They will do something illegal with it. And so those organizations tell their volunteers. And when we talked about this on the podcast last week, we had more people in the comments come and confirm that fact from other organizations and say that, yeah, we don't give aid out to men either because they don't actually do helpful stuff with it.
Yeah.
They don't benefit the community, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think that's misandry? You think that's men being profiled?
The funeral homes that don't want to hire men, the animal shelters that don't, some of them don't want to hire too many men. Why do y'all think that is? We're not the ones that's creating this. Women are not creating this stuff. Women are not the ones who kept men out of education. Y'all are the ones who came up with that whole concept and left women out. But like we were talking about last week, the guys are all complaining that college isn't even made for men anymore. All the scholarships and everything is just made for women. And it's like, no, it's not. I have never seen a scholarship that said only women can get this. Unless it was amongst a sea of scholarships, like a list of like 50. And there was one for Black people, or there was one for the natives. There's one for left-handed people, right? In cases like that, you will see individual scholarships, but there is no scholarships or programs that say men are not allowed in these classrooms. Men are not allowed to take. That doesn't exist.
And God forbid, right? I mean, God forbid you try to start a space without men. And then it's like, oh, no, you're excluding us. This isn't fair, blah, blah, blah.
Women who have tried to open women's only gyms, women's only spas. The men are trying to get it shut down. Women only clubs. We're not doing that because we hate men. We're doing it for our safety. Women just want to exist amongst women without being on all the time. We don't want to be assaulted. We don't want to be catcalled. We just want to
your nervous system doesn't want to be in fight or flight
all the time.
The whole time you're at the fucking gym. Like,
it's just like, just go work out with men. Y'all work out for each other anyway. That whole bodybuilding shit, women are not attracted to that shit. That shit looks disgusting. Y'all do that for each other anyway. So shouldn't you be in a male gym with other men? Why do you want to come to an all-women's gym? For what? Unless you have nefarious intentions. There's no reason for you to be here. When it comes down to you being at home with your wife and kids, you can't get away from those kids and that woman fast enough. You always want to be with your homies. But now when there's an open gym or a gym for just women, now all of a sudden y'all want to make a big deal about men being excluded. It doesn't make sense to me. You have nefarious intentions. But women are just saying, we just want to be safe. That is not even man hatred. Are there women out there who say they hate men? Of course. But those women, but why? Why do they hate men, number one? And number two, is your life threatened? Are those women harming you? The answer is fucking no. They just want you to leave them alone, and they're going to leave you alone. Like, literally.
At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. You can't claim that that's misandry because...
You can't.
Like, what do you mean? Guys will talk about their crazy ex-girlfriend as, as almost as if it was someone that they had to, like, run for their life and like, escape the clutches of. And the whole time it'll just be like a woman that they lied to and gaslit who's having an appropriate reaction.
Absolutely.
And
every
it's like
time.
if women were out here doing the same shit to you that y'all do to women, we wouldn't be women would have to prove their way out of jail.
Absolutely.
All women would have to prove their way out of jail. If we ever, even for one day, for 24 hours, reached equality with men as far as violence statistics and things like that, it would be over for us the next day.
And the funny thing about it is we would be smarter anyway. If we decided to get revenge, we would have already done it, number one. And number two, the numbers would probably be higher, maybe, if women were out here deciding to take men out, because it'll be like, ethylene glycol in your morning coffee type shit. Aqua Tofana, you know what I mean? The numbers would probably be higher. I would say they would actually be higher. You're not seeing that because women are not interested in doing that. We don't want to do those things unless you back us into a corner. Women have the right to defend themselves or whatever. But like, there is no history of women creating systems of power or any control over men. There is no legal exclusions. There is no forced financial dependence. Like I was saying earlier, nobody's forcing men to survive only if they're married to a woman. That's only been the other way around, right? Violence against women is normalized. If misandry was taken over, violence against men would be normalized. Like we would literally, and it would be normal. It would be happening at the same rate or higher, and it would be normal. Oh, she pushed him down a flight of stairs. Oh, what did he do? Oh, dang.
Yeah.
What we eating for dinner later? Like literally it would be an afterthought. That would be
it would be
the
a
way
joke.
it is.
It would be like,
the way it is right
so
now.
He's not a good listener, huh? You had to
Exactly.
push him down the stairs, like, haha, yeah. Oh, you had to poison his food real quick.
Yeah.
Like he just wouldn't shut up. He wouldn't stop yapping. Like, had to put him in his place. Like, had to fuck his homie. Like, what do you mean? That would all be normalized.
Absolutely.
And the moment we try to normalize it, even satirically, men are like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair. You guys are out here catching print and I'm a 16-year-old boy. Again, when's the first time I was catcalled? 11.
Facts.
11.
10,
I think
12.
you can handle it. I think you can handle
Absolutely.
it. You know, they always see really quickly how things are unfair when women flip the thing that they've been doing to women
the
like
whole time.
Oh my God.
Every fucking day.
Like the irony of it is like actually so thick.
It's
like
they can't even imagine it in their minds, yet we're living it every day. It's too much for them to even think about. No. But we're living it every fucking day from the time we come out the womb. And you think it's unfair to you. And you're not even mentally strong enough to even think of it. You would wake up in a cold sweat if you had a dream about it. You would be panicking.
No, seriously.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we live it every day. Like our nervous systems have been in fight or flight so long that it's like, are we in permanent flight or fight at this moment? Like as a default, I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Are we just walking around in fight all day? Or are we in flight all day because we're so desensitized to it? Like which one is it? Like because we've lived it for so long. Like I don't even know what it is anymore. It's so
seriously.
Crazy.
Because it also all comes back to you. So you not only have the sense of like general fear and like you're not safe, you also have to carry all the responsibility of it on your shoulders. There's no equivalent of that for men. There absolutely isn't.
There's no laws made for men's bodily autonomy, their reproduction. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. Remember when they tried to make a joke, and I'm pretty sure it was satire, where they were saying if a man is having sex, I forgot what state it was. If a man is having sex without the intentions of getting a woman pregnant, and you catch them masturbating or something, you're supposed to report them. I think that was last year. I forgot what state it was. Mississippi? I don't remember. But it was so funny. But it's just like, yeah. And for 2 seconds, the men were like, oh my God, that would be horrible. But it's like, they're always coming for women's rights. They're even talking about coming
you're
from
technically
birth control.
aborting like billions of babies every time you shoot a load. Like you're aborting human lives.
Absolutely.
They have the potential to be a human life. And you're just putting them in a napkin and then into a trash can. Yeah. No, literally. Wow, that's messed up. That's messed up because women only have the one egg every month.
And y'all have millions of opportunities.
Billions.
And you're just
billions.
You're literally just wasting it at that point. But there's no laws about stopping you from doing that. There's no law saying, men should have mandatory vasectomies at the age of 18 before they go out here and impregnate a bunch of women. But the takeaway here is that men shouldn't be concerned with what misandry is. They should be more concerned. I made a list. They should be more concerned with the ways that patriarchy harms men. Men are expected to suppress their emotions. Y'all are fighting demons that only exist because of the patriarchy. If it wasn't for the patriarchy, the demons most likely wouldn't even exist.
They would leave you alone.
Yes, you wouldn't be under all this pressure to do things. Being valued only for money or status. That's the patriarchy who did that. The patriarchy decided that. We didn't have anything to do with that. Being disposable bullet bags for the wars. If it was up to women, there would be no wars. So that's not misandry either. But y'all ain't worried about that. Well, maybe now some of them might be, but like women are like, no, I don't want my son to go to war or my brother or my dad or whatever. Like we still would want to like stop that from happening because there's many of us who y'all call misandrous have men in our lives that we actually care about. You know what I'm saying? So even then we still got y'all back, but y'all are not worried about these things. There's no mental health support amongst other males because males make it impossible for men to be vulnerable. That's not women. That's y'all. That's not misandry at all. That's misogyny. You have other men constantly policing what masculinity is all day, every day, like telling you how you need to show up as a man, even though deep down you know that you don't measure up to that or that's not who you really are. That's not really women. And if there are women that are doing that, it's only because of the patriarchy, because they
bought into the system that you love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They have internalized misogyny. That's literally it. And the suicide rates, y'all should be focused on that too, because men are taking themselves out because of the the pressures brought onto them by the patriarchy. This has nothing to do with misandry. This is misogyny. I noticed that men use the misandry word whenever they just want to dismiss women's lived experiences. Like we were saying earlier, a woman just saying, I don't want to be in a relationship right now. I'm just gonna I want to travel. I want to go to Bali for 30 days or something. I just want to live my life. Oh, you must hate men.
Yeah, I think we have a mutual that both of us follow, and she does that kind of content where she's like just happily child-free and single, and she just lives her life and she travels.
Oh, Audaci-Tea?
Yeah.
I love her.
And I know we both love her. So yeah, but men get into her comments all the time with that kind of exact kind of entitlement. She never runs out of content because they're always there every single day. They're there just like, how dare you? And like, nobody's going to want you and blah, blah. Like, does she look like she's concerned with that?
Videos where she's not even talking. It would just be literally a video where she's just like standing under the waterfalls and the water is coming down on her hair and she's slicking her hair back under the water. And that's it. That's the whole video.
That's all they need to see.
And then they'll get in the comment section and they're like, you're a man hater, because she's a child-free content creator too, but she doesn't even talk in the vast majority of her videos. She's just sitting, she may have a caption that says, on vacation for a week in Romania or somewhere, I don't know. And the hatred. It is just like, she's not even doing anything to y'all. Like, she's literally just out here on vacation.
Just living her life.
But they see that as misandry because she doesn't have a man somewhere in the background, or that woman with those pit bulls.
All that free labor is going to waste.
It's going to waste.
It could be, the ladies propping up a man.
The ladies with the dogs. Remember she did the dog content where she makes her dog steaks and stuff. Oh, they hate her too.
Oh my
They hate
God.
her too because she's a misandrist, because clearly she has to be, because she's making steaks for dogs when she should be making a steak for a man. So she's a misandrist too. And she doesn't these women don't even talk. The women are literally talking about their dogs. Oh, I gave him a scalp massage and I put some cocoa butter on his little, his jowls. And,
I love that one.
And it's just like, oh my God. So the stuff that they call misandry is like women just out here living their lives, minding their own business. That's misandry.
Absolutely. And then also the other stuff they call misandry that you brought up earlier, like women being like swearing off of men or like decentering men or whatever. It's like, y'all will deal with a woman who is, for lack of a better term, for some reason I'm like blanking, who will like run your pockets one time and all women are gold diggers from there on out, right? You will run into a woman that cheats on you one time. These hoes ain't loyal, right? You'll run into a woman who is has a certain standard of treatment. And then again, it's like, oh, women are hypergamous, like whatever. A woman will leave you for one of your homies. Again, probably according to patriarchal standards because he's taller, richer, whatever. And you will blame the woman. You won't blame the patriarchy.
Exactly.
But you'll blame the woman, and then you'll think all women are players, for their and they just want like the tall dude, and they want, the dudes with like the big D's and everything like that. And it's like, well, that's what men idolize. That's the patriarchy.
Idolized that to be the standard. The patriarchy.
And it's okay for y'all to profile women like that because you have one bad experience. But for women who have arguably probably have a bad experience every single day with men. Literally, depending on how old you are, depending on how much you're out and about. Like, there are women who genuinely get harassed or catcalled or whatever. I'm thinking of women who live in New York. They have their butts grabbed. Like, they get harassed on public transit. Like, I literally watched a girl one time, and I say girl because she was probably under 18, trying to, or like just over 18, making content of her run. She was just running, and then she had to pause the video and be like, oh my God, like a homeless man just grabbed my ass.
Wow.
And she had to just process that like in real time. And like, I mean, I'm glad she left that clip in, but it's like, how would you feel as men if like women were out here doing stuff like this, but in a humiliating way, not grabbing your ass, doing something worse.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I can't think of
Sticking
it. 'Cause I'm
something
not
up your
freaking-
ass.
Yeah, something. Right. Yeah. Something
would
that
hate
you
it.
really wouldn't enjoy. Something that would be threatening to you, something that would be uncomfortable. And if that happened to you one time, you'd be walking around with your ass cheeks clenched for the rest of your life as a
absolutely.
man. But women are supposed to smile, sweetheart.
And you can't let
Smile.
one bad experience taint
Yeah.
you from all the other
Yeah.
men out there. But as a collective of women, we have had multiple. You've had one in second grade. And women have had them with probably half the dudes that they've ever dated. It's been the same shit. So it makes more sense that women will be like, I'm tired of going through this. You only went through it one time in second grade and you never got over it. And I'm in my 40s, 50s, and I've gone through, I have the right to say I don't want to do it anymore. I have the right.
A lot of men are misogynistic just because their mom was not nice to them.
Exactly.
You know? So yeah, I think women have more than a right to react appropriately to the level of misogyny that we are faced with every single day. And I think that calling it misandry is another form of misogyny.
It is.
Because you're still unwilling to just listen to women. Like you're still unwilling to just acknowledge that there are systems in place that make one of those things real and one of those things literally like
theory.
A figment of your imagination.
A mindset that doesn't really manifest.
Yeah. But legit question, if people do have legitimate, genuine examples of misandry, I would love to hear them. Because I know I throw out this challenge like every once in a while, and I've never really had anybody yet successfully be able to make a case for it they won't be able to, but I'm just saying we're not arguing this in bad faith because
I want to see.
This is your opportunity.
Absolutely.
We would love to see. So yeah, let us know. Sound off in the comments as always, and we'll be right back to discuss our This You story for the week. So stick around.
I love it. This you.
Welcome back. We have picked out a This You candidate for the week, and it is truly a diabolical one. I came across this one and I knew we had to talk about it because it is truly one of the worst things I've ever come across. And it may seem, I don't know if it will seem innocuous, but a lot of people were kind of trying to excuse it in the comments, and we'll make sure to go back and read some of those as well, because I'm glad that our public consciousness is starting to reach a level where these people are getting called out and made fun of. And I'm really glad. Like, Reddit's come a long way. I know that it's nowhere near perfect. I know it still is like, but as someone who's been on there for a long time now, we've come a long way. So let's celebrate that, I guess. So the post in question, the title is, Am I the Asshole for Using My Dad's Underwear to Make a Point About the Toilet Seat? I tried to guess where the story was going to go, and I couldn't. There was, that did not cross my mind. So the person says, this has been going on for so long in my house that I feel like I need a third opinion. I, 21 female, live with my parents and younger sister, 13 female. We have a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom thanks to old building layouts, so all of us share it. The problem is my dad does not lift the toilet seat when he pees, and he ends up leaving splash marks on the seat, refuses to clean after himself too. It is not about just how it looks, it also smells and makes it inconvenient for me, my sister, and my mother to use the bathroom, checking for stains every time. We have told him many times over the years to just lift the seat, but he refuses or ignores it. At one point, when my younger sister was younger, like 9, she used to sit without thinking much and got a skin rash.
Oh my God.
We're going to come back to that. That is so fucking gross. I was really frustrated, and it kind of blew up for me recently. I told my dad that if he kept leaving the seat dirty, I would start cleaning it with his underwear. So he was warned. He did not take me seriously, so I actually did it. Whenever I found stains, I used one of his clean underwear to wipe it. I even used the ones he kept as backup. Eventually, he ran out of clean underwear, and the ones left smelled. So he realized what I had been doing. We had a big fight about it, and we have not spoken for 2 months now. Some relatives found out and are telling me I'm making a big deal out of a small issue. First, they refused to even address the issue when I tried to explain, and now they just explained to me that it's just a habit he doesn't have. We should just make up and not spoil our relationship over this. My sister is also telling me to stop fighting, but I feel like this is basic hygiene in a shared space. Correct. I know using his underwear was extreme, but I had already tried talking about it for years and nothing changed. I will not lie, it has started to take a bit of a toll on me because it has started this cold war in my house. But I feel like I should stand my ground because if I don't, my compliance will spill into other things that are not just minor inconveniences. Am I the asshole for standing my ground over this?
Nope.
So in the edits, she also clarifies that I'm assuming because a bunch of people were telling her, we'll just move out, blah, 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 without addressing the actual issue. She was saying, yes, I'm an adult, but I live in India where you don't really start earning till you get a degree, which is at 22 or you are a laborer. I already have a job offer and will be moving out then, but that is one more year for me, but I'll have to leave my sister behind. So people are also just like telling her to get out, but clearly there's more than just her involved. Right. And it just shows to like how people will go out of their way to like protect men. Like, why are you guys fighting for this man?
Right.
Like, a lot of people are suggesting to keep the seat up, and I agree it's a good preventative measure, but we need to keep the lid closed when no one's using it because things can crawl up the drain.
Oh my goodness.
Since we live in decently close proximity to a forest. And then she finally said, to all the people coming after my mom, please don't. In a culture where a woman's life is defined by her father, husband, and then son, she has done the best she could. She came from a village where she was literally the first woman to have an office job. You know why? Because people did not educate their daughters since they will be married off eventually. She still supports us to the best of her abilities and has her own differences with my father. She did take my side, but I don't blame her for not being an active participant in this since she has her own issues to deal with.
Yeah, if it were me, I would use his underwear, his socks, his favorite T-shirts. I would go.
Yeah, I was gonna
say, I would use way more than his underwear.
Use his work clothes.
Work clothes.
Use his hat.
Phenomenal.
A handkerchief.
Phenomenal.
Like, you should be forced to like rub the piss all over yourself the same way that other people are too.
Yeah.
You are the only outlier. You live with 3 women.
Yes.
They're the majority.
Right.
Majority rules. And
how hard is it to just, it takes like a few seconds to either let the seat down or clean up your own piss. Like
I can't. I'm actually like disassociating right now because I can't. Like I am so angry. Like we're talking about misandry, and I don't know if I'm like crossing that line right now in my head, but maybe I am because I really think there should be more severe consequences for stuff like this.
I agree.
Because there's no way you're not doing that on purpose. You're pissing all over the toilet seat. There's no way.
A grown man who can't aim has to be done on purpose.
Or it's just that tiny.
Yeah.
That you can't hold it or control it and you still insist on. So which is it? Because if I have to body shame men, I will
too.
Absolutely. Also, I don't know if men know this, and this is like another one of those stupid ways that the patriarchy hurts men. It's not even good for y'all to be standing and peeing. It ruins your urethra, ruins your bladder, ruins everything. So you should be sitting down anyway. But
that's
because men,
girly and feminine.
Yeah. And this is literally the extent to which y'all will go to be misogynist and then turn around and say it's misandry when women hate you. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's like, this is so representative of men's behavior in general. This is not an outlier. This is not an isolated case. And a lot of times when men talk about men's rights and stuff like that, they act like the rest of the globe doesn't exist. They act like places like India don't exist, where women are not educated, where, you know, men are actually like actively lifted up to where other people will protect them for having nasty, disgusting, unhygienic habits and making their own daughter break out in a rash because she sat in your piss. Like, oh my God, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
First of all, how nasty is that? Pee has to be.
Yeah, pee is supposed to be sterile.
Yeah.
Why is it
supposed to
rashes?
be sterile. And so it's like, why is she's getting a rash? Like, I don't.
Like, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. And I am glad because a lot of people did come out and condemn his behavior, but there's still like, this is what I mean about misogyny, like versus misandry. Yeah. It's not the asshole. Gross boys become gross men unless they're educated otherwise. I would have asked him why it's so hard to sit down and avoid the mess. She says in her post, so you didn't even read her post, because she says, we've talked to him about this. We say it all the time, every day. We complain about it, and he refuses to change. So y'all are ignoring the fact that this man is willfully ignoring his own family, who's begging him to stop pissing on the toilet seat. That should be a non-starter. You should be in jail. Like, I don't know. I know I say that a lot, but you should be in jail. Like, that level of no empathy and that level of actual, like, again, misogyny. You're doing something that only affects the women in your household. How is that not misogynistic?
Yeah, he's doing it on purpose because he's the only guy. And it's three women against him. So he needs to feel like he has some form of control over something, because he probably doesn't feel like he's in control of anything. And this is just his weak, insecure little way of trying to assert some kind of dominance or, something over the women if he's the only guy in the house, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And that literally is it. It's like you feel insecure in other ways. And this is what we also mean when we say, like, men are rewarded by, like, external outcomes. It's like you almost don't care what's happening as long as you're the center of attention.
Right.
Like, he probably enjoys, there's probably some sick part of him that enjoys this at the end of the day, because that's why he keeps doing it. I'd be like, you should be embarrassed. Yeah. If somebody calls you out on that, you should be like, oh my God, like, how gross, how embarrassing, how shameful. And instead, you're like, let me just keep doing it.
Sickening.
Absolutely sickening. Okay, I wanted to read some of the comments too. Okay. Someone said, I'm sorry, you're using his underwear? That's fucking disgusting. I cannot believe you do that. Use his pillowcase instead. That way you're not touching your dad's underwear. I love that one.
Good. Yeah, let him get a rash on his face with his own pee.
Seriously. That is so crazy.
I agree with one of them. It says she used to sit without thinking much and got a skin rash. And then they said that should have been enough reason for him to change his gross habits. I agree. Like, do you care about your daughters at all? Because, like, what the hell? Yeah,
and I was really glad to see, like, a lot of people backing it up. And a lot of people just calling out the misogyny in it. Someone said, sounds like a dog marking his territory as the male in a female-dominated household.
I love it.
But, it kind of sucks, too, that, like, people came after her mom and, like, came after her and all of this stuff. And we'll just move out. You need to start worrying about, like, moving out. Okay, but her mom and sister still have to live with this asshole. Like, why wouldn't she put up a fight while she can? Like, why are you guys automatically like, well, it's such an American.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
I don't know. There's a little bit of an American mindset to this, where it's like people don't understand that in other cultures and other countries, you are kind of forced to live with your family. There's no such thing as like, oh, you just go rent an apartment.
Yeah,
like, that's not how it works. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but that's not how it works. I can tell you that. There's no such thing as like, oh, well, go get a job once you're 18.
Yeah.
In some countries, like,
that's not a thing.
That's not a thing. You have to have your education first. Yeah. That's so crazy. I don't know. And a lot of people were like blaming it too. He probably expects the females to clean up after him like his mama did when he was a boy. And again, there could be some truth to that. But why are we bringing women into this to catch strays? I don't know. Seems like you should just be able to recognize
his disgusting behavior.
Yeah. I wouldn't like to sit down in someone's piss every time I sit on the toilet. So I probably shouldn't piss all over the toilet seat.
Right.
Anyways, yeah. So this has been This You. And please chime in with your comments. I know that that's something, unfortunately, a lot of women deal with. And there was some women in the comments that were even saying, oh, yeah, I had to do this to my husband. I would sprinkle a little bit of water on the toilet seat so that he would sit down and like understand. And like, yeah, guess what? He doesn't do it anymore. Like,
I guess if it works, but it shouldn't even be. You shouldn't have to go that far.
I understand. And like every time I understand why married women catch strays in the decentering men movement. Because like some women talk about this stuff as if it's like just a regular part of your day, like something you have to do. I don't know.
It's so true.
I don't know. The brainwashing goes really, really deep to where even other women are like, try this fun trick. I use this to train my husband.
It says
like,
a lot. The fact that women are just tolerating it and they have to come up with ways to cope with it or deal with it, it's like you shouldn't even have to deal with it in the first place. It's an automatic red flag to me. Like, what? I would break up with a guy over that, me personally.
I was going to say, I was like outraged. Well, I won't get into that. But yeah, anytime I find that out about someone, I cannot respect them as a person, like at all. I am horrified and just absolutely, it's never something I've ever had to deal with my husband or my father.
Right.
And like anytime other men come over to our house and they don't like, they're not hygienic in that way, like my husband will clean it up. Like he does not even make me deal with that. So again, men can be thoughtful. Men can be empathetic. They just have to be thoughtful and empathetic.
Right.
And that's all that it takes. And if a man is repeatedly not that, he is misogynistic.
Yep, absolutely.
That's all that it is. A lot of them do this stuff literally on purpose. So as we always say, be safe out there, please. Let's read our poll results. Okay, so the poll was, when people say not all men, what types of men do you think they're ignoring the most? So we have A, men who underestimate the issue. B is men who think predation is just an unfortunate fact of life. Men who think certain women deserve it. Or men who passively enjoy / consume / encourage predation. Ooh, we had a little bit of a split result.
Maybe the second one?
So the split was actually between A and D.
Okay.
So we had men who underestimate the issue and men who passively. And I think that makes sense in the context of the question.
Yeah,
like, what kind of men are we ignoring the most? Because it's easy to dismiss the men who just underestimate it or who just passively, do anything. It's like, oh, well, he doesn't realize it's harmful, or, oh, he just,
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't know any better. Those men are not your friends. That's all I have to say about that. Men who are just like willingly, would sit there and ignore it or not want to. They're useless.
They're literally
what are they doing?
Useless.
What are they doing for you? So yes, and thanks y'all for the participation in the poll. Let's see if there's any juicy comments to read. So someone said in our Patreon, at this point, I would say any man who benefits from his privilege and is not prepared to acknowledge at what cost and who is impacted most by the privilege he enjoys and takes for granted. The excuse of not being aware enough in this current climate of multi-channel, omnipotent media seems like an easy way out of evading responsibility and having to think too hard because it hurts. Yes, absolutely. There was some commentary about how like porn fits into all of this as the thing that men passively consume and, whatever, which is something that I addressed in the podcast as well. A lot of people said all of the above. Oh, yeah, we had a good comment that said pedestaling innocence as the pinnacle of men's right to destroy is the most sickening aspect of predator actions, to think that they have leeway to harm kids and women. And it's like ignorance is something that like men oftentimes feign to avoid talking about issues. They're like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm just a man.
I've never seen it because nobody in my circle.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, do we have a recommendation for this week? There's some shows that I've started watching. One was recommended on our Patreon, Imperfect Women.
That's the one.
Yeah?
That's what I was telling you about. That's it. It's so good.
Nice. So I've started watching that. We'll report back. Maybe we'll put it on one of our therapy or the void polls. But yes, check that out. There's been a lot of buzz about the show. Again, I'll pipe in once I'm done watching it. And then I also started something about money troubles. Margot's has money troubles.
Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I saw the preview. Okay.
Yeah, so that's another one that I'm also going to watch and probably comment on. But that's what we got for y'all this week. And we'll be back next week with a journalist and reporter named Stephanie O'Connell. She covers money, power, and ambition and has written for Slate, Bloomberg, Newsweek, USA Today, Glamour UK, Business Insider, and CNBC. And she is coming on to promote her new book called The Ambition Penalty. And she'll be on the show to highlight some of the ways that men's income opportunity and advancement is subsidized by women. So keep an eye out for that episode. I'm really, really, really excited to talk to her. And we'll see y'all then. Bye.